We do have a little bit of time left. I think only about like 10 or so minutes. So I guess we can move over to the random topics.
Yeah, whatever you like. Because honestly, any topic, no matter what, is going to end up being a quick dive in, dive out. Unless we want to just save the experience chunk for next week.
Man, it keeps being moved back and moved back. I could see that being something bigger that will be talked at for lengths of a time. And so I'm trying to think of things that we might have shorter responses for. But I guess that's where I want to talk about craftable arrows in Ashes.
Oh.
And this is something else that you picked out. So if you want to lead us in.
Yeah, bear with me one moment. Let me get a quick
Yeah, exactly. Nair says at Wizzy, yeah, I'm very curious how they will do word declarations, how costly, etc.
Yeah. And Penumbra says we have hours left, by the way. We've lost track of time, and we actually have hours, not minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
All right, so so Kalnazzar on the forums posted up a topic that is controversial, especially to those who are looking to play a ranger primary archetype. And that is craftable arrows in Ashes of Creation, empowering artisans and players. And the summation of the post here is basically saying that it would promote artisan collaboration because it would require work from a couple different artisan classes, like the woodworking to create the shafts and stone or metalworking to create the arrows, fletcher, etc., etc. Economic diversity would add more crafting components, depending on, especially if there's special components that you can have crafted, like poison tipped arrows, etc. And then player agency and customization, because then you can pick which type of arrow you want to have. An elemental arrow, poison tipped, traditional shafts, armor piercing, blunt tipped, so they're non-lethal, etc. That type of thing. It would give rangers much more of a flexibility. But of course, there is the counter argument that nobody who uses a bow in MMOs likes to have ammunition to worry about. What's your view on it, Liniker? How do you feel about it? Keep in mind, by the way, we have about a 5 minutes, so super quick.
Yeah, so I mean, I might be biased on this one. I don't play rangers. I never play ranged. Sometimes I play mages, but that's the most ranged that I go. For me personally, everything that like moves the economy, I think it's great if they wanted to do. I mean, to be fair, if they did like you needed arrows, I would say it would only be fair that mages needed some sort of reagents or something like that. But again, that could be put together through like arcane engineering as well and something like that. So I think that would be interesting. That would be cool, like for the economy, for the professions and all that. I'm all in for that. But yeah, everyone that I speak, that I talk about this, and I have these discussions before in my community, no one that plays range classes wants it, and people are completely against it, like the players that are going to be playing rangers. So I guess I'd rather have like people that play those classes happy, and I don't know, maybe try to move in the economy through different ways. That's not something that I would advocate for, because I know that like it's not a class that I play with, and people that do play that, they don't want it. So
I agree. It looks like also I put a poll up for chat. It's at the top of the chat if you want to vote. But I see in chat a lot of people are saying it, as soon as you need arrows, you also need spell components. And I feel like it kind of becomes a slippery slope of, needing this or that component, and micromanaging resources and things like that. I do appreciate the idea of trying to make artisan classes more comparable, but I'm not really sure how well that's going to work. I was very happy when they removed that from World of Warcraft as an archer, but also as a lot of people are saying, any class can play with any weapon. So, there's that. Also, welcome in, Skinny Bruce. A lot of people are saying no thanks to the craftable arrows, with a tie between yes, please, and either way. But Skinny Bruce says arrows should not be crafted. It's really pain and would not augments to skill, for instance, covered poison arrows, elements arrows, etc. Yeah. Ashes Near says WoW did many things wrong, but going away from craftable arrows is not one of them. And I think it's just like it becomes a pain to kind of manage that resource over time. Like imagine being in the middle of a dungeon, and for whatever reason the boss takes more arrows than you planned on, and now you're out of arrows, so now you're just literally a useless DPS.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
thank you.
To be fair, ranged classes, they do have a little bit of an advantage over melee because they're shooting from like far away, they don't get hit. So it could be like a balancing way, like, hey, if you're fighting from the distance, at least you have a little bit more of a cost, like getting your reagents or getting your arrows. I could see that, but once again, like, I'd rather just people to be happy with the game and not be frustrated if that's what people want.
Now I have two things to say about this discussion. Until these two things happen, well, I'll tell you after this, but I have two demands or requests or whatever. One, make it cheaper for tanks to repair their gear, because it's not fair that tanks have to spend so much bloody money to repair their gear, I don't know, 10 times more than anybody else. Definitely more than the cost of a bushel of arrows in your bag. Thank you very much.
True.
Or make it so that the entire party who takes part in adventuring with a tank has to pay for repairs, like built into the game systems. Until that happens, I really don't care what people say about spending money and time with craftable ammunition and reagents and all that. Let them spend their time, because I always play a tank, and I never, ever leave a raid, dungeon, or other experience with as much money as somebody else. I never do, because they have a repair bill of 10 gold and mine is 70. And we only made like 100 gold out of that. So I got 30 and they got 90.
And no one cares about tanks.
Yeah, they literally got 3 times the money I did. So take that and balance it with your 1 gold for a stack of 300 arrows, and I will surf on your river of tears. Thank you.